This morning started off a bit snowy, but luckily not too much, because I had several hours of windshield time that I was about to invest. I was on a mission today to pick up a snowblower for the tractor. We have a list of project improvements and ideas that we want to accomplish with our property. That list is always being reviewed and adjusted, because all of those projects take time, effort, and money. A snowblower has been on the wish list for several years now, but for one reason or another, it's just never quite been able to push itself to the top of the list. This winter, it finally topped the list, just as a particular type of snowblower came available about 80 miles away.
Made it to the destination and worked out the deal and got it all loaded, and we're getting ready to head home now. So that's going to be a pretty useful tool. About 80 inches wide, which is just wider than my tractor. The right length, the right horsepower for a front mount rear PTO snowblower for the tractor. It's going to be good. The only thing I don't have now is a cab on the tractor, but I guess I got winter gear for that. So we're loaded up. We're going to make our way into the little town here. Stop, double check straps and everything, make sure everything's secured really nicely, but it should be fine.
Standard rear mount snowblowers have been available quite often, but I didn't want the problem that would come from me twisting in my seat, looking over my shoulder for hours while I'm trying to clear this many miles of road. I also knew that my tractor did not have the hydraulic power to run a front-mounted skid steer style snowblower. So this style was the right answer, and I just had to be patient enough for the right one to come along.
Well, we made it home. Everything's good. It's warmed up. It snowed a couple inches. So I'm going to move these pallets and plow out a little spot here and clear off the welder and get that ready to go inside the shop. Get the tractor fired up, get this thing lifted off of here, and then try to get it positioned over here so that I can work out the mount system for it.
Over the past few years, as I've window shopped for a good used snowblower, there's been several come available for a good price. The biggest hangup has always been that they're usually a minimum of 800 miles away from me, some of them even farther, as far as Saskatchewan and Wisconsin. Obviously, the biggest problem there for me is either the time or the money to get it here. That consideration has typically factored fairly high when weighing the balance between investment and priority. Typically, that results in me deciding something along the lines of, although that would be really awesome to have, I'd rather invest that time and money into Project X and just get by with the tools that I have. After all, they've worked just fine so far. This winter, however, I'm reminded of why I generally prefer to have some form of redundancy or contingency plan for systems that I depend on. Lucky for me, this year Mother Nature has been kind enough to review and audit my system dependencies, illustrating and highlighting all of the flaws and weaknesses. All that remains now is for me to be wise enough to value that input and make the necessary improvements in my systems. This snowblower should be one of those improvements.
So that's the plate, the mounting plate, the yellow one. And it just needs to bolt onto that front cross mount, which means I need to drill a few holes in that plate, and then with it bolted to the front there, those two hitch pins fit into these corresponding holes, and that allows it to quick connect into there. And then this saddle here lifts off and sits down over the drawbar on the back. The gearbox turns on its side, cradles the PTO. That way you can drive over the top of it, couple the hydraulics, and raise it up into position to drive it into those pins. Then you can put the jack on the back here, crank the back up against the drawbar, and then that pin drops in the hole in the drawbar. Which means I gotta take one of these balls off of here. I think my length is actually gonna be just about right. It measures out to be just about right on. Awful dang close to where it needs to be right now. Hopefully tomorrow we can get that sucker mounted up. Pretty excited. We got about 7 inches of heavy wet snow last night, and I tried plowing it. Builds up like snowman piles, and it's heavy enough, but it kept pushing me off to the road. I even had it try to have it pretty straight. Ultimately, I had to turn the blade around and back up so that it would roll off the blade rather than building up between the blade and the tractor. So I am now going to go get this thing, the snowblower, mounted up, kind of check things over a little bit, grease everything real quick, get it positioned on there, and then I need to look at these couplings and see if I can, what I can work out for the hydraulic couplings, because came off of a John Deere and they're a little different coupler than what I've got, I think. I went to start on the snowblower and I was like, holy crap, it's too hot. It's like 38 degrees out here today, and it was even too hot for me to have my hoodie on under my vest, which is usually how I roll. And so it's a good day for it. Well, I was partly hoping that I could leave the blade on and still have room, but it looks like that gearbox is going to come clear out here. Okay, so it's mounted on. It's right now kind of in a floated position, resting on the ground. And the hoses are a little bit short to go up to my couplings. And the couplings that are on there are not right for my tractor. So what I'm gonna do is just try to work my way down the driveway, running it. It's shooting the right direction. I'm just gonna kind of clean up that big pile of snow along the downhill side of the road that I kind of made with the blade earlier today. And we'll see how it cleans up making my way down there. I do have some small hoses of that size down in my storage, so I'm gonna go work my way down there, see what hoses I have that'll fit, see how it goes. It's a trial run. That's a snow-eating beast, isn't it?
Holy cow! What do you think?
That's cool.
Is it?
I need to get the hydraulics.
It's kind of interesting that it has like a bike chain kind of thing.
Chain drive.
Oh, is that normal?
That's what drives the main arm.
Yeah.
To spin. Yeah. Wow. The newest version has like a little shield over the chain. The hoses are too short.
So you need more.
I've got some hoses in the Conex
Oh, okay.
that are this size.
So what does the hydraulics do? Just bring it up and down?
It raises the snowblower and sets it down, and then it also rotates the chute.
Oh, okay. So you would
So
need it.
Position it. Yeah.
Look how funny. Don't go in when it's going. And they're wearing like high heel boots.
Got his leg all
Twisted in.
around it. Yeah.
It's so funny. Oh, this is cool.
So I thought I'd just make my way down to the Conex and then see what hoses I have and then make my way back up, I guess. Just chewing away at it for a while.
Cool, but look at that.
It's a clean cut.
Yeah.
It didn't take long evaluating these hoses to realize that they just simply weren't going to work. Most of them were way too long, and they didn't have the right type of fittings on the ends to be able to connect up. I was going to have to wait a couple of days to get the right hoses, so I decided to use it as it was to clear out around my animal area. But the slushy wet snow was beginning to be a problem. As soon as I got the corral access cleared, I parked the tractor and took advantage of the remaining hour and a half of warm weather daylight to get up onto the barn roof and install the stovepipe, flashing, and rain cap. You won't see that in this video though, because overnight we got about 3 more inches of snow and all the roads needed attention. So despite the hydraulic functions not being available, I was ready to put this thing to work and see just what it was capable of doing.
Well, I broke a shear bolt, and it broke just enough that it's kind of stuck in the hole. It won't, the way that it sheared, it caused it to kind of have a little bit of a hanger, so it's one side of it staying in the hole. So now I gotta make my dang way back up to the house where I have some appropriate tools and try to pound that bolt out, put a new bolt in, and then drive all the way back down here and start over.
Because I couldn't raise the blower, I made my way back carefully, changed the shear bolt, and ran out of camera batteries. But I wasn't done working. So after 3 more hours, I was sopping wet and freezing, but I had made a full swath in each direction and cleared out the road real nice, all the way down to where the county plows. At 5 a.m. the next morning, however, I was in for a real treat.
So on my way to work, I got pulled into a ditch. And I have really spotty reception, and I asked my husband to come, and he's getting the drifts taken care of. And this is not even our road. This is the county road, but I don't even know if I can get through. Can't imagine he's comfortable though, if you think about it. All that snow that he's blowing is just blowing right at him as well. And it's windy and uncomfortable as I'm sitting in a warm car with my scrubs on. We literally got this snowblower just in time. Just in time.
This is why I told you to keep this strap in your truck. All we got to do is go about 6 feet and you'll be fine.
Okay, but which way do you think I should go to work? Should I turn left or right?
It's both gonna suck.
Yeah. I have like no reception too for a minute.
Yeah. So I don't know which way to tell you. Neither one of them are going to be plowed. So
just choose my destiny.
Pick your path. And
poison.
Pick your poison. That's good. Pick
Okay.
your poison and I guess go from there.
Okay.
If you see a snowdrift, back up.
Don't go in it.
Don't go into it because the hydraulics are not. I couldn't raise the blower and just come.
Right.
So I had to go slow enough that I could auger.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it would pack full of snow and freeze.
Right.
And then it would be broken. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hook up to your thing. Let's get you pulled forward about 8 feet and you should be good after maybe 12 feet.
Hey, thanks.
You bet.
I love you. I definitely know you love me. It took you longer plowing and getting here than pulling me out.
I knew it would.
It'd be like, that was like not even 2 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, well, then I'm on my way, hopefully.
Let's roll this up and put it back in your truck for safekeeping.
Okay.
You don't have any reception, so don't get stuck.
Okay. All right.
It might be clear all the way.
Might be.
It all depends on how the wind went. This is the stuff when I was a kid that I remember about living in Idaho as a little young kid.
Mm-hmm.
Come to winter, it was a big deal. And it was always because of the drifts.
Yeah.
I remember having snow days when the drifts were taller than the school buses.
Yeah.
And you'd literally be just like, they're closed for 3 days so we can clear out the pathways for the snow.
Yeah.
It's something else.
Yeah, that is something else. I remember when I lived in Valdez and the Thompson Pass was the same way. You have snowblowers just going back and forth 24 hours a day.
Just trying to
keep the pass open.
Yeah.
I mean, in the last several years that we've been here, like, this hasn't been a thing.
It's all about immediacy, right?
Yeah.
It's all about, I got to go at this time.
Yeah.
Not
5 in the morning. You
5 in
don't
the morning
anticipate.
5 in the morning after an all-night snowstorm.
Yeah. Eh.
Well, we went into town and got some hoses and fittings and things to make this connection work out. So I got my tools in my truck and stuff, so I'm gonna go ahead and get these hoses connected so I can get them coupled up here to the loader control, and that will give me my raise and lower and the rotation of the chute.
After clearing enough of the snowdrifts to make a path and getting Ola unstuck so that she could make it to work this morning, I came home and started opening the pathway into the pig pen. But I ran out of fuel right here. So I walked back up to the house, and since I was going to have to drive my truck down here to fuel the tractor, I decided I should just make a list and run into town to get the components it was going to take to connect the hydraulic system on this snowblower and get everything fully functioning. By the time all of that was completed, there was just enough daylight left to go and open up all of the untouched areas of my property and make one final pass on my road. After replacing several shear bolts, I think I've finally removed all of the problematic rocks buried in the snow. And so from here on out, it should be smooth sailing for the rest of the season. As I sit and reflect on the amount of time, effort, and money invested into this piece of equipment over the last several days, I couldn't be more pleased with the outcomes. And with that pressure relieved, it's time to look at the project list and shift my attention back to the top priority.